Hello, happy Wednesday, happy hump day. Today I'd like to talk about how to reduce stress. I want to just get into it. They're not in any particular order, they're just things that I believe from my own personal experience that's going to help you reduce stress. That has really worked out for me, and I do believe they are somewhat essential. Maybe applies to anyone, applies to you, maybe not, it does not, but I want to make sure I put it out there and hopefully help anybody who needs a little bit of tips to reduce stress in their everyday life. Again, they're not in any particular order. Whatever works for you, whatever you resonate with, then it will work for you. So the first one I want to get into is appreciating and loving yourself first. I know that's a cliche. Although I do think it's really important to find joy within yourself, not finding negative energy about yourself. It's hard to, we often, based on the way we are brought up, our environment, the way the society works, we are conditioned to be really critical of ourselves, from our peers, from our family, from education, from all sort of environment that sort of condition ourselves to be always not good enough. We're always the hardest critic to ourselves, and I think that is just the wrong way to look at things. And I believe appreciating yourself more, loving yourself more, and really not worry about what other people think, because it really just doesn't matter. It really just does not matter. No matter how people think of you, it's not affecting your health. Hopefully it doesn't. I just think if the more you're able to apply that, not worry about what other people think, and I think that goes with anybody, from your family, friends, if they have negative energy for you, I think it's just not something worth worrying about. So, so appreciating yourself and not worry or care about what other people think. Second one, and just do you. Be your authentic self. Be happy. Be who you're born with. Nurture and nature. No, don't let anyone or anything tell you otherwise. I truly believe being yourself, being your authentic self, whatever that brings you joy, whatever brings you passion in life, that's the way to go. So again, just do yourself, and I think that resonate with the number one too. Again, they're not in any particular order, but do yourself, not worry about others. You don't need to be like anybody else. You are a unique being, an individual. Everybody's unique. Everybody's special. I truly believe that. So that's the second one. The third one I believe is just every moment. I know there's this practice of doing gratitude in the morning, but you can be grateful for anything, any time of the day, any moment. But always think about 3 or 5 things that you can be grateful for. So if you have more, great. If you have a list of a lot of things that you can be grateful for, even better, right? So like we want to constantly be in the state of gratitude. Be thankful for everything. Sometimes it's like the little thing. Be thankful that you're still healthy. Be thankful that all your parts still work. You have your limbs. Like even if you don't, for any particular reason that you're still alive, that's something to be grateful for. So have gratitude. I think that's one of the things that can help you reduce stress. And the fourth one, I believe, is social media. Social media is just you social media is a very neutral medium, right? It's however you utilize the platform. Platform is just it's just a technology, but it's how you utilize it, how much you spend on it. I sincerely believe the more time you spend on it, the less effective that is really useful for. I think the idea of social media when it first came out, it is to build relationship with your friends, bond, grow the connection, sort of shorten the distance through social media. You can always connect with your friends no matter where they are. So I think that's the benefit of social media, that you can connect with your friends no matter where they're from, no matter where they're at, no matter how many years you guys have not seen one another. It's a great way to connect, right? But it also has a negative aspect to it where you might see how well other people are doing. It creates sort of that FOMO experience, which you either will have it or either you don't. But I think sometimes it isolates you, it creates loneliness if you're too much dependent on social media. So again, I don't think it's a terrible thing to have, but I think it does create anxieties and stress if you're relying too much on social media. So less is more. So try to use less social media. The fifth, I would recommend going outside more. The outdoor is a beautiful, beautiful place. Even if it's raining, believe me when I say, just being out there, out of the house, it's gonna create sort of an energy where you're not feeling like you're alone. You're outside breathing air, you're seeing other people, there's energy with other people. So try to go out more if you can. The next one, I think, is related to going outside, but try to embrace outdoor activities, whether that's with friends, whether it's, just with yourself, playing basketball by yourself, go running. Like any outdoor activity is a plus. Exercise, go to the gym. If you have friends that you can have physical activities with, like, do it. Like, I think being with other people, taking your mind off things when you're doing something, is always a great way to reduce stress. You're always in the moment when you're doing other things. When you're doing activities, also a form of meditation. I truly believe that. So I highly recommend being active and going. That's sort of similar to being outside. And the next one, I would say number 7. This is not something you have to do. If you don't feel connected to it, this is not a necessity. But if you are able to incorporate it in your everyday life, meditation, breathing exercises, stretching, and this can all be done at your own home. You need to just dedicate that time to yourself. And I guarantee if you're able to even put 5 minutes into any of those breathing exercise, meditation, stretching, just a little bit of time to yourself without any device, it's really helpful to sort of center you, ground you, and be in the moment. And I think a lot of times stress comes from Hi there. Well, I guess this is sort of take two. Somehow the video stopped. But I was on number 7, meditation and breathing exercise and stretching. Again, more time to yourself, less device in the morning or any moment will definitely reduce stress. So number 8 is finding joy, humor in your everyday life. I think we're overly serious because all the news that we're bombarded with. Sometimes, it can feel like the world is in chaos, the politics, everything seems. But I overall think the world is getting better despite all the negative news sometimes. And again, I personally will try to stay away from news. There's a channel called CNN. Someone once said CNN is basically constant negative news. And I think it's perfect. It really is constant negative news. So stay away from news. Enjoy the everyday life, every moment. Find joy and humor in everything you're around. That's gonna definitely help you reduce some stress, not take everything so serious. Life is too short to be overly serious, really. So that's my number 8. Number 9, sort of the same as number 8, I guess. There's a little bit overlapping, but being the moment. So I guess it's sort of the same. Being the moment, not worry about the past. What has happened. Don't think too much about the future. What I mean by that is not about planning. Like, don't plan for what to do tomorrow. More of worrying about things that's not going to happen yet. Worrying about the future when the future is just an illusion. You can't control the past is the past. You can't control it. The future is an illusion. It hasn't happened yet. Like, worrying about either two is a waste of time. So being the moment, whatever you're doing, if you're watching a television show, you're reading a book, you're eating, be in the moment of eating. You're talking with your friends, be in the moment with your friend for that conversation. That's gonna greatly reduce a lot of anxiety and stress, because when you're just overthinking about certain things that hasn't happened yet, and honestly, nothing's within our control. The only thing you can control is your own mind and choices. So it sounds easy. I know it's not, but it's a practice. It's a practice to be in the moment too. So I highly recommend that. And I think the last one that I will recommend is have great relationship with your peers, people around you. Whether you're married with kids, you're in a relationship with your families, with your coworkers, even strangers that you are interacting with in the moment for a short time, like your cashier in the grocery store, people that you can say hi to as a stranger on the street. Just have a good vibe, appreciate everyone. That to me, like, is going to reduce a lot of stress, especially having great relationship with people that are really close to you, your families, your partner, if you have kids. Those are so vital to your mental health, how you feel about the world, how you feel about your everyday life. I can't overstress enough how important relationship with people you're close with is. If you do have a hard time with certain people within your circle, I would say just open up your heart, try to be the patient one, trying to be the sympathetic, compassionate person, and communicate, work it out, whatever. Or if every interaction is not a pleasant experience, then I would say maybe avoid as much, maybe. But I do think if you can work it out, resolve it with people that you value, deem close, I highly recommend it. So those are the 10 things that can help you reduce your stress in this crazy modern life where everybody hustling, and it can be a little bit overwhelming, but at the same time, we are living in a really, I would say, a very good age, like appreciating the technology, the convenience, where, our previous generation don't have. So I think, again, it's having gratitude with everything you can find. And that's going to really help you reduce stress. Hopefully that helps. I hope everybody have a great day. Have a lovely day. Love yourself. Have joy. Be happy. And yes, live life.